Welcome to the Mind Muscle Connection Podcast, the podcast for people who want to improve their training, nutrition, mindset, and recovery. Here is your host, personal trainer, speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Andrew Chadwick.
Hey folks, hope you're okay. Welcome back to another episode of Mind Muscle Connection. Now this week I've got a great guest in Richard Mansell, who is a professional golfer over in the UK, and it was great to just spend 30-45 minutes with him just talking through everything that he looks at with his training, with his nutrition, with his mindset, and be able to get you guys to see what it is from a professional standpoint that we need to be working on. So we're going to jump over into the episode and I'll see you all at the end. How's it going, Richard? You okay?
Yes, mate. How are you? All good, thank you.
Yeah, doing all right, thank you, buddy. Okay, so we're going to kick the podcast off. Get straight into it. I want you to give me a 60 to 90 second intro about who you are, what you do, what life is currently like for you with regards to everything that you do in life.
Cool. Yeah. So, hi guys. I'm Richard Mansell from Staffordshire, England. I'm a professional golfer who does enjoy his training as well and likes to keep on top of his fitness. So yeah, at the moment, life is obviously a bit different, like it is for everyone, not being able to compete and travel, but managing to stay on top of some fitness and enjoying some home workouts at the moment. Also getting things done around the house that I wouldn't normally do. So learning a lot about myself, reflecting on things, and I think it's quite a good time to kind of find a way to get better at certain things and still find a way to get better at what you do. So I think it's a great time to learn and reflect, and that's obviously what I'm trying to do at the moment, because I can't be out there on the golf course, which is where ideally I'd like to be. So
yeah, of course. So what kind of things have you been doing in terms of to get better at golf at the minute?
So with me, something I've always prided myself on is my mindset and mental strength and mental game. And over this winter, I kind of started to struggle a little bit with it and lost a little bit of belief, and didn't really know what direction I was going in terms of, was just basically changing coach, and basically just fell off a bit, which a lot of some in their career. And obviously when we got put into lockdown, it was a case for me to kind of reassess and go back to how my mindset was last year and start doing them things that I was doing. So I've been doing a lot of reading, meditation, yoga, to kind of just go back to that mindset where it makes you really appreciate being able to do what you love to do. And that was initially what made me have a successful year last year, because I was in such a good place mentally that I really did feel privileged to be able to play golf professionally for my job. And obviously I love golf and so on, and being able to do what you love for your work is an amazing thing. So yeah, just obviously, like I said, I fell off topic at the start of this year and started struggling and feeling sorry for myself for all the wrong reasons in South Africa. So yeah, I've been working at trying to kind of get that mindset back, and really do feel in a really good place now. And obviously there's so many ways during these tough times for everyone in the world that you can try and turn a lot of negatives into some positives, and just basically flip the switch a little bit. And that's what I am trying to focus on. So yeah.
So just for the people that may not have heard of you, or for some strange reason, because everyone should have heard of you really, for those people that don't necessarily know what kind of success you had last year, just kind of tell us how many wins you had or placings that you had. And
no, last year was a bit of a breakthrough year for me. I'm still in the early stages of my professional career, but I managed to climb up to, I was inside the top 400 in the world rankings, won on the Euro Pro, got some invites onto the Challenge Tour, which for football fans would be like the Championship, European Tour being the Premier League. And then had some starts in the Challenge Tour, had 3 top 10s in 7 events. Just started to kind of really find myself and get some good results under my belt, and managed to earn a really good category on that tour for this year. signed with a really big management group, signed some great deals, and basically had some amazing things happen, which for me was kind of living my dream. And at an early stage in my professional career, that was a great thing. So, yeah, that's basically some of the success that I had last year.
No, it's very good. Now, we were kind of leading towards training a moment ago, but what does training kind of look like for you right now, with being like at home, not being able to get on the golf course or have any competitions coming up? What is your focus at the minute?
Well, obviously, I mean, yeah, we can't play golf, and that for me is the biggest thing in terms of with what I do. My practice is done at the golf course, so I have to reassess that. I can't be doing that. What can I do to get better at the moment? Well, I can concentrate on my fitness. How can I do that? So at the minute, I started off, I was running quite a bit, and then I started to struggle with that because I quite often I get problems with my shins from running on the roads, gets quite painful. And then I've had a little bit of a problem in my foot, which I was starting to think could have been a stress fracture. Turns out it's almost a stress fracture, and if I probably carried on, it probably would have been. So I stopped that. So I've just been doing some live workouts really in my kitchen. Just one of my friends, PTs, just does a live workout and half dying every morning, and different sessions, upper body, conditioning, core, whatever, and just kind of joining in with them, get a bit of a sweat on. I've ordered a spin bike, so that comes in the next couple of days. So I'm lucky enough I've ordered a Peloton where I can do some live workouts there. And for me, as obviously as a professional athlete, it's really important to stay competitive and so on and not lose that mindset. So that was a big thing for me, that yes, okay, keep on top of my fitness, but I also need to stay competing. And if I can't compete in golf, then I need to keep competing in something else. So that's just part of how I live my life and how I know that I can judge myself against others and also judge against myself. So yeah.
I've seen like Bubba Watson, Ricky Fowler, Rory, they've all been on the Peloton and they've been putting stuff out there.
Exactly, and it just keeps it fun. You kind of competing against people and also getting a great workout in. And for me, it's something that I always wanted to have away from golf, another kind of hobby. And for me to do that at home, I think was worth the investment, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting started with it. So.
No, brilliant. I love how you just explain that as an investment rather than a purchase. So many people would look at it and be like, oh, I've got to go and buy a Peloton and I don't particularly want to spend the money. Whereas you looked at it as actually this piece of equipment here is actually going to help me compete, but also actually make me a better athlete in the long run. So that's really cool to look at it that way.
Well, exactly. And it only happened, I tried to buy a normal spin bike first for a lot less money. Turned out it was actually a scam on eBay and was never going to come. And I think, like you say, a lot of people at the start were trying to get spin bikes because they thought we're in lockdown now, can't go out and exercise. Obviously, you couldn't get them anywhere. And then it got to a point where I just thought, do you know what, I'm going to spend a bit more. I love the idea of having that competition and, like I say, and having the live workouts and keeping it fun. And I think that's a really big thing during these tough times, is to enjoy it. And like I say, it's something that after all this lockdown I want to carry on with and be on top of, because yes, I love golf, but I do also love fitness. And if I can stay on top of that and enjoy it, like I say, I think it's really important to enjoy your training and so on. So I feel like that is something for me that will be beneficial.
So in terms of when we get through the lockdown and when we're able to go back to training facilities and stuff, what would training look like for you leading up to your next event? I don't know when your next event may be, but kind of what's your time scale and what would you do building up to that now?
Yeah, well, obviously this winter I put in quite a lot of work, doing a lot of strength training, putting on some mass, increasing a lot of what I was lifting. And then it's obviously kind of been taken away from us. We haven't been able to, all the gyms have shut down, haven't been able to carry on. I haven't got gym equipment at home. When I went to buy it, couldn't get it anywhere because everyone had the same kind of idea. So like I say, I am really looking forward to getting back in the gym. I think it'll be a case of reassessing and going back to some testing on what we're currently lifting and so on, and basically restarting what we did before, because I think it's going to happen where I'm not going to go back and lift what I was lifting before lockdown kind of thing. It's just not going to happen. In terms of when I'm going to be playing, I don't know that. None of us really know with the current situation. So when we get an idea, hopefully they'll give us a few weeks to kind of prepare, get back out on the golf courses, also in the gyms. And because like you say, yes, it's going to be great to get back, but the thing we need to think about is not kind of rushing back all at once and then getting injured, because that's going to happen to a lot of people. So that, I think that's a really important thing as well, is like you say, easing your way back in, getting used to it. And I think, like I say, the stuff that I'm doing at home should help with that, but it's basically not going to happen overnight. So yeah, ease my way back in.
You've got to, like you said a minute ago, if they give you a few weeks, you've got to be able to not only mentally prepare to get back into a competition and also get out on the golf course and practice before that competition happens, but you've got to be able to prepare your body for that competition. Yeah. So most people, whether it's a case of the golf courses are now open, they're just going to flood to play golf, are they actually going to step on the golf course in a deconditioned state that's going to potentially lead to injuries or issues later on down the line? So I like the way that you looked at that there.
Well, yeah, I think that will happen. Like I say, amateur golfers, pros, whatever the level they are, everyone misses golf. So when we get the chance to go and play again, they are going to rush back and they're going to rush to the first tee to get out there. But like I say, a lot of people will skip doing a proper warm-up and things like that, and it could potentially injure them. And then they have to take longer off golf, which, like I say, no one wants that. So I think, like you say, you've got to be smart. You've got to understand the situation. And when I eventually get back competing, it's going to be a case of you need to kind of get back into your routines. And it's been hard, like being at home so much. It's hard to consistently wake up at 6 a.m. for nothing kind of thing. And do you need to do it? Well, no, but it will help in the long run. So yeah, you're going to have days where you kind of fall off a little bit and you sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix, but I'm trying not to have too many days like that, because like I say, I want to stay ready. And when I eventually get back to my normal routines, I don't want it to feel so alien to me kind of thing. So
yeah, it's only going to make it difficult, isn't it, to get back into it if you don't. Okay. Let's go pre-lockdown and let's go back into last year, actually, when you had the successes. What was your mindset before a competition? What were you looking at and what were you focusing on leading up to the competition day or stepping out onto that first tee?
Well, yeah, I mean, I always pride myself that I always work hard. That for me is a massive thing for my mentality. If I know that I'm working hard, I know that I'm probably got one up on a lot of my competition, because I've put the work in. I know I'm good enough. And like I say, that mentally just puts me in a good place, ready to go and compete. So I knew that if I was taking care of everything off the golf course, in my home life, in my fitness, in my nutrition, all of that, if I was ticking all of them boxes, then there was no reason why I then couldn't go and play good golf. And I think, like you say, you don't want to be getting to events and start working on stuff and stressing on things. You want to have everything prepared before you get there. And when you get there, you've got a job to do, and that's go and play 18 holes, play your practice rounds, compete. And then when you're not competing, you need to rest, because, like I say, we're traveling to different countries in quite warm climates, catching flights, sleeping in different beds. Like, it's quite hard on your body. So you need to be as ready as you can be, and that doesn't come from getting to events and starting all your work. So preparing for everything at home to then go and do what you do.
I like that. You've literally just kind of, again, it's kind of what the difference between amateurs and professionals, where the amateurs are just looking at it, okay, I've got to get to the first tee and then I've got to go through my warm-up. Whereas you work on your warm-up the week 2 weeks, 6 months before you enter a competition. So it's kind of like a daily ritual, but you wake up and you get yourself and you get your body ready, like mentally and physically. And then when you get to the practice range, you're already in a state or a mindset that you can perform effectively before you get to that first tee, and you've already checked all the boxes that you know that you're going to stand on that first tee and hit the shot you want to hit because you're mentally physically ready as well.
Yeah, well, like you say, and I've been playing this game for 15, 16 years now, and I've learned a lot in that time, and kind of even things from not having too much sugar before playing or not having enough. And I've been on a first tee in a tournament before, and I've literally had the shakes and felt like I was going to faint because I hadn't put the right things in my body before I was playing. And like I say, some people don't even think about that, and I think it depends on how seriously you want to take the game and so on. I've also had it where I really struggle. I can't have coffee before I play because otherwise I will. And I love coffee, but before I'm playing, it will give me the shakes at some point, or I'll have like a little come down. And like I say, that could be during my round where it could really affect me.
Yeah.
And some people some people who play and they have a normal stressful job and then get into the golf course, they get to the car park, they change their clothes in the car and rush to the first tee, and that's their way of getting out. Well, it depends if they're trying to play and get their handicaps down or play to a good level, then it's probably not going to happen. But if they're just getting out there to kind of relieve some stress and hit some balls, then that's absolutely fine. But I think you just need to ask yourself, how seriously do I want to be? And then put everything in place that you need to do to kind of get them results that you want. So,
yeah, human nature is very much, we want to compete. We always want to compete. Whether we're playing with our mates, we still want to beat our mates because it's that kind of dominance. But we want to set ourselves up to be able to perform at the point where we can dominate. And I know it can sound like an aggressive term when we're talking about playing golf with your mates, but we want to play well. Nobody wants to leave the golf course playing badly. So how can we not only get our mind right, not only get our body right, but step on that first tee and feel great? So I love what you were talking about there. That was fantastic. You were leading on to your nutrition, and this was the next point that I was going to come to. Just take me through a competition day or a round day. What would you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you get home and go to bed? What would you do with your nutrition?
Well, like I say, I think it's important to understand what the conditions are going to be like for my day. So if I'm playing in rain, then I'm probably not going to be drinking as much when I'm on the golf course. But if I'm playing in the Middle East where it's 30 degrees and it's really dry, then I need to make sure that I've got my electrolytes. I don't really like to drink Lucozades and things like that while I'm out there, but you can't just drink water because you need to replace the salts, and otherwise, because I've experienced this where I didn't know it. And I remember my first tournament on the Challenge Tour back in 2017, first time playing in Dubai, and front nine I played great. Back nine, it hit me, and obviously I didn't have these electrolyte tablets. I was just drinking water, and it was the only time I ever played golf where I generally didn't think I was going to finish because I felt like I was just going to pass out. So yeah, learn from that. But yeah, from when I wake up, just kind of, I like to have a light breakfast, porridge, stuff like that. But that's again, it's not changing from my daily life really. And then, yeah, depending on my tea time, but making sure that I'm eating front nine and back nine, because I see so many people who just don't eat on the golf course. And it's like, you're out there for 4 or 5 hours burning energy. How do you expect to kind of focus while you're out there? So, yeah, making sure I've got the right things in me, whether that be, I don't know, it could just be having a sandwich. It could be having a bowl of rice and chicken. It just depends on kind of what facilities I've got at my hotel to cook, but making sure that I'm getting carbo loading the right way. And then after I'm around, just make sure I get enough protein to recover. And yeah, keeping my fluids up is really important. So I drink a lot of water, but I don't go into too much detail with it, because it's it's hard to do that. And as I've found out when I'm traveling and going to different countries, a lot of the time they don't have the stuff that you think you're trying to get, and it's hard to travel with it. So I've found in the past when I've tried to be really strict with it and then I couldn't do it, I got quite down on myself because then I felt like I was failing my nutrition.
Okay.
So for me, it was a case of, right, let's not be too strict with it, but make sure, like you say, you're getting the things that you need. So you're getting your carbs, you're getting your protein after the round, you are eating as you're playing. Like you say, not me personally, not having coffee and before I play and so on, and getting the shakes, and then just staying on top of that.
Yeah, again, kind of relating it to most club golfers, they'll get up, they'll have their coffee, they might have a bacon sandwich at the golf club.
Yeah.
Get out
before a bacon and sandwich. Yeah.
There you go. They'll go out and play, and they don't really, like you say, drink anything or eat anything on the golf course, and then they get back and they might have have a couple of beers, maybe a sandwich or something after the course, and then just go home and relax. Now, I was looking to, I was on a podcast the other day and I was talking about times when I've looked at my own routine and I've finished on the golf course and gone home, and I've had to sleep for like an hour and a half, 2 hours because I'm so dehydrated or undernourished to the point that I can't stay awake. So what worked for me was kind of looking at my routine in the morning and during the round. I'm someone that's not having caffeine at the moment, but I noticed when I would have coffee that I would have that high and then that low. I would offset that a lot of the time by making sure I'm staying a lot more hydrated, because I didn't want to dehydrate past the point of like levels. And what I would also look at is making sure I'm feeding throughout the front nine and the back nine.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time people may get to about the 9th or the 10th and they'll have a Mars bar or a banana or something, and
because it's halfway through. But like you say, that's over 2 hours, and while you're burning energy, you do need to. I don't like to have a big thing. It's just kind of constantly having little bits for me. Again, another reason why I do that is because it takes my mind off things, and while I'm out there, I don't want to be stressing about how I'm playing or something. If I'm constantly, I have my caddy with me, so it's a lot easier. But if I'm walking up the fairway and just kind of nibbling on something or sipping on something, it mentally takes my mind off what I'm doing out there, and then helps me focus on really shot to shot, which is what I'm trying to do. So as I'm walking in between shots, you kind of do want to switch off and do something else, because otherwise you'll get to your round, end of your round, and you will just be exhausted.
Yeah. No, brilliant. I think people need to pay a lot more attention to what they're doing during their rounds to make sure I'd predominantly say it's probably the last 5 holes that people tend to die off. And it's oftentimes down to the dehydration or poor nutrition as they're going round. And they think it's their swing or they're doing something mentally, when actually it's the physical stuff that's being impacted because of the internal stuff.
Yeah, so it might be their swing, but it isn't that their swing's just disappeared. It's just because they haven't got the energy levels to probably produce the swings they're trying to do or they're used to doing, and then they think, oh, what's going on? So, excuse me. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. But yeah, so.
Okay, cool. You mentioned about kind of getting off the course and ending a competition. What kind of your recovery strategy, or what will you work on post-competition to be able to kind of next day be ready to go again?
Yeah, so I'll always go through, it's kind of like a cool down really. So go through a series of stretches, especially the night before going to bed. Like I say, if I've had a really tough walking day, I might need to do something with my legs, whether it be some sort of ice bath or something to kind of recover properly, to make sure that I'm feeling fresh and ready to go again tomorrow. But yeah, making sure, like I say, in my meal, I'm getting some good protein. It's very easy, especially when you play bad, that you want to eat a bit of junk food or whatever to make you feel better. But for me, I've just found that doesn't work. It actually makes me feel a lot worse. So following these kind of little things, again, it's not being perfect, but like I say, getting the right proteins, just a good meal in me, protein, veg, some carbs ready for the next day. not too many personally because I don't like that. But yeah, and then just trying to get a good night's sleep. I think that's really important. You see so many people who are using their phones and social media late at night while they're in bed, and I think it's been proven that does really affect the way you're sleeping and so on. So me, I like to meditate before bed as well. That always gives me a better night's sleep, and that's just something I've added into my routines that's helped me. Probably the last 18 months I've started playing around with meditation, and that for me has been massive and really helped kind of, especially at the end of the day before sleep, just actually whatever's happened during that day, whether it's been a great day, a bad day, you kind of got through the day and you're ready to go sleep and go again tomorrow and attack. So yeah, I think it's quite interesting to look at these things and see how everything links.
Yeah,
like you say, it's you can do these, like you go on about you working out, and yes, it's helping you physically, but it's actually probably really helping you mentally because, like you say, you've put the work in, and if you eat well, and yes, it's going to help you physically, and it's not going to make you get fat or whatever, but actually it's probably going to really help you mentally because you know yourself that you've been putting the work in with your nutrition and you've been eating well, and that's just going to make you feel better about yourself and happier in your day-to-day life and so on. So
yeah, I can imagine that there's no better feeling than standing on the first tee, even the 18th tee, coming towards the end of a competition and knowing that you've checked every single box that you need to do to perform effectively from hole 1 to the 18th hole, but start seeing, right, I'm going to hit this drive, I'm going to hit the green, and I'm going to make a par or birdie that's going to win the tournament. And having that ability to say, right, these are the I've got to check. This is the plan that I need to execute, and if I can do that, I know that I'm going to play the best I possibly can. Yeah. Obviously, swing mechanics or whatever that need to be adjusted is outside of what we're talking about, but from a nutrition training and mindset point of view, everything's been checked before you get to that first tee.
Exactly, and it's controlling what you can control. You can't control winning. You can't control what you're going to shoot. You can't control, but the things that you can control are what are you putting in your body? Are you putting the work in? And if you're doing all that, then you can't ask for anything more, really. And like you say, it might not happen that time. It might not happen next few times, but eventually you will see results. And like you say, it's not. This is something I've worked on mentally, but it's not being result driven. It's like I say, I've known from proving it to myself especially last year, that if I focus on, like I say, what I can control, how I'm preparing for tournaments, how I'm doing that, it kind of just takes care of itself. So that's the biggest thing for me.
You've kind of just answered my next question, but what's kind of the mindset? Say if you've come off the back of a bad round, or if you've come off the back of a really big win, what's the mindset straight after the competition? Whether it's you've got another competition next week or you've got a competition in a few weeks, what's the mindset straight after the competition to be able to get yourself ready for the next one?
Yeah, I think, like you say, I think it's important to reflect on the week or the round, or if your tournament's a one-day tournament, reflect on it. What did you do well? What did you do poorly? Why did you play well? Well, did you get a good night's sleep? Did you put the right things in your body? What have you practiced that week leading up to it? If you played poorly, ask yourself why. Like, did you sleep well last night? Did you have a Domino's for pizza? Do you know what I mean? And these people don't really think about these things, but they do matter, and they do play a part in what happens. Like I said, everything is linked. So for me personally, I think I've just kind of, when I'm in a good place mentally, like I feel I am now, I'd reflect on, if I played bad, well, okay, I'm human. If I know myself that I've prepared how I should have and I've done everything that I should have, then played bad, then all right, I've played bad. It wasn't my week. Like, go again. It doesn't mean that I've lost the ability to play. Stick to doing what I know. So stick to my routines and so on, and stay happy in my life, in my day-to-day life and off the golf course, which keeps me in a good mental state. And I know that it probably makes me look forward to next week. So I think it comes to it especially with golf, the biggest thing is you've got to be enjoying what you're doing. Yeah, I've been in it as a pro where it has felt like a job, and I lost the love for the game a little bit, and especially during this lockdown, it's really made me appreciate. Well, at the start, I thought the biggest thing I've missed was competing and traveling to tournaments, but actually, it's just made me really, really miss the game as well now. And I think it's easy to take them late evenings in the summer when you go for 9 holes, and just kind of, that's what I really miss. And I think it's going to be great for me when we get out of this, because I'm going to be playing, and like I say, I'm not going to be results driven. I'm just going to be happy to be out there and kind of really appreciate that I'm doing what I love for my job. And there's a lot of people worse off out there and so on. And like I say, I think if I have that kind of mindset, then the results will take care of themselves. So
perfect. So over here in Texas, they released kind of the lockdown visions on the golf courses. So last Tuesday, I went out and played 9 holes, and the course wasn't in exactly fantastic condition, but it was so nice just to get out and have a couple of hours where I'm on the course and I'm able to almost free my mindset from the constraints of what's going on. And yeah, okay, I played to a decent level when I played, but it was just like, it's so nice just to be out getting some fresh air, walking, and have no kind of pressure mentally while we're going through that round. And it was really, really nice.
Yeah, and like you said, I think that's how we all need to kind of look at it. And kind of, I'm really excited to when we get back in that first round, and when you on the first tee, just actually standing there and just taking it in, kind of thing that, like you say, we're going through something we'll probably never go through again. Well, we hopefully won't. But like I say, I think there's a way of turning it. Yes, it is negative, and everything that's happening in the world is awful, but there's a way for everyone to kind of try and take a positive out of it and think, well, in a weird way, we are quite lucky to have witnessed it, and for our mental state, because it's been a really good time to learn a lot about yourself and how you kind of manage yourself and how you manage things. And hopefully we can all take that into our lives going forward and appreciate stuff more.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, so last one. This was a question sent in by Matt Smart on Instagram, and he wanted to know, what do you think is the biggest difference between a good amateur and a professional? But I actually want to kind of expand on it a little bit. So what was the biggest difference between an amateur and a professional? And what was it like for you going through that transition?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the preparation. Really do. I think I've played with some top amateurs since being a pro, who talent-wise are unbelievable, but their course management, the way they go about things, like you say, just isn't quite there. I think it's really important when you the thing that I did, that I believe helped me when I was playing on the Euro Pro, which is like the 3rd tier. I really wanted to act and do it, even though I wasn't. I wanted to act like I was a top 10 player in the world and I was on the European Tour. Even though I wasn't, there was no reason why I couldn't act and do everything day to day as if I was. So take care, I feel like I'm a broken record, but going back to them things, take care of what you can control. All of them. How am I training? Having the right team around me, because that's what the best players in the world have. And amateurs, it may be financially difficult to do it, but like I said, you need to, in your mindset, try and see things as investments, because and actually think about things, are you spending, say you have a strength coach, for example. Yes, okay, it might be expensive, but it's going to help you earn a lot more money down the long run. So, understanding what works for you, and basically just acting like a professional. I think that's the biggest thing. I've played with pros who, talent-wise, aren't that impressive, but what's impressive is how they go about their daily lives, and they know their own games, and they make an awful lot of money doing it. So, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Perfect. Well, that is everything that I was going to cover. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and doing this with me. I appreciate it. The podcast is making a transition to athletes, and golfers in specific would be great. But if we have different backgrounds, is fantastic. So it's nice to keep that kind of transition off with yourself. And I think we've got some amazing content there. So I appreciate your time. Where can people find out more about you, whether it's on social media, or have you got anything that people would be able to link to?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm looked after by Modest Golf, so they're posting stuff, and that's owned by Niall Horan, who formerly in One Direction. So there's quite a lot of people who view that kind of content there. But I'm always posting stuff on social media, so you can find me at Richard_Mansell. Little tips here and there. If people want to ask questions, I'm happy to help. I'm not kind of one of them pros who shuts people off. I've been that person before, trying to ask for advice, and I think that's important to kind of learn off everyone. I mean, I learn off my dad now, who's a 28 handicap, because I think, how the hell is he enjoying it, shooting 100 out there? But he still is enjoying it, and I think, like I say, a pro can learn a lot from that. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions or wants to ask me anything, go ahead, and I'll do my best to help out where I can. So
wicked. I will put all the links and stuff into the notes so people can see them. Just real quickly before we do end the podcast, is there anyone that you can think of that would be great to get on this show and talk through content with?
Athletes or?
Yes, or people linked with athletes, I think would be, or certainly people that have got a strong mindset, like linked with athletics or performance.
Yeah, my psychologist, I think, is very interesting. I always find that kind of things very interesting, who's Tom King. Okay. I've got a friend who is a golf coach as well, but also he's also a life coach, so does a lot of, and he's very interesting to talk to, and kind of, like I say, really sees the bigger picture all the time, but he's linked with golf, and his name's James Need at Need Golf Academy. You've obviously got Piers and Andy at Me and My Golf, who kind of the legends of social media and YouTube. So we both know them. But yeah, I think it's there's quite a lot of people. I'll have a think and let you know, definitely, if I can think of anyone else. So.
Well, no, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Richard, and take care of yourself.
Thanks a lot, mate. Catch up soon.
Bye. So there you have it, folks. That's this week's episode of the Mind Muscle Connection. Now, I hope you enjoyed it, whether it's on video or audio form. Thank you so much for checking out the episode. Please do go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the channel, give us a rating and review, share the podcast with as many people as you can so we can get this content out and help people. Now, I do want to give a quick shout out and just let you know that I do have online training programs available at this time during quarantine. So don't worry if you're homebound or you're stuck at home, we can still get training done and progress done. Some of the guys that I'm working with already at the minute, they're improving their flexibility, their strength. So if that's an area or areas that you want to improve on, go ahead and give us a shout and we'll get you started on an online training program. Folks, I will speak to you all next week. Have a good one, take care, and peace out.